All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the weekly weather briefing for February 14th for this next week. My name is Kyle Thiem. We'll get right into this. So starting off, I just want to do a quick recap of what we had with the storm system moving through on Tuesday. Right now you can see here we did have a good line of storms that came through. Pretty classic late winter QLCS system that had multiple embedded small rotations along with it and some pretty severe wind gusts. As you can see on the map here, we did have one confirmed tornado as of right now that it was in North Clayton County, actually just south of the airport. I'll zoom in on them in a second. There were a couple other areas that were in question, but as of right now, there's not enough evidence that we did have a solid rotation, or sorry, a solid tornado on the ground in some of these places, although there were some questionable areas. I do have noted on here, we did have multiple small, brief rotational signatures that were observed, but either we didn't get any damage noted from them, or there just wasn't enough strung together excuse me, to really verify that a tornado was on the ground. The exception to that was there in North Clayton County. Otherwise, we did have about at least 50 storm reports that were issued throughout mostly the southern county warning forecast area. We can see here where we did have a little bow in the southern forecast area going through the Macon, Bibb, and Warner Robins area coming out of Columbus that did produce quite a bit of damage. And then some other pockets where we had some heavier damage there in northern Upson County. We got quite a few reports, a couple buildings that had some structural damage up there. And then right here, kind of along I-20 going out into Morgan Green County, we had quite a few damage reports out there also. So looking in a little bit at the one confirmed tornado we did have, it was just a couple miles to the southeast of the airport in the Forest Park, Lake City area. Looks like it was on the ground for about 5 minutes, but only did about EF0 damage. Like I said, these rotations were very small, very brief. Essentially, when they spun up, they were there 1 minute and gone the next. This one we happened to catch and get a warning out on, thankfully. Estimated peak wind speed is about 75 miles per hour. Only traveled about 3 miles before dissipating, just on the south side of Forest Park. All right, so when we were prepping this briefing, we did have an outage with KJGX. Unfortunately, we did have an outage with this radar down near Warner Robins when this event came through. It has been pretty intermittent since then. We've had technicians going there analyzing the issue. We've had a failure in an installation of a part connected to the transmitter's amplifier. We just had the techs out there this morning as we just had an outage overnight. They have gone out there and done some pretty extensive cleaning of the entire transmitter system, and so we're hoping that might do the trick. However, we'll have to keep this in mind going on throughout these this next week or so. It's been pretty hard to stay consistently up, so we're hoping that we fix the problem, but we could see some intermittent outages going forward. As that radar is down, it's kind of in a little tricky spot because there's not a lot of radars within a closer proximity. At least within our forecast area, you can probably rely on NWS Atlanta, that KFFC radar. If you're a little bit on the southern end, that Moody Air Force Base, KVAX is probably your go-to. And if you're a little bit further towards the southeast, that NWS Charleston, KCLX is probably the best one to go with right now. But we're hoping that we have solved the problem, but we'll have to see going forward. Currently out there, we do have a high pressure that is dominating the area after that frontal system moved through. It's going to be the case for at least the next couple of days here with the advancements of our next system. And we see on satellite there, we got a lot of sunshine breaking through. That's going to start getting coated with some of this upper level cloud cover as we start going throughout the day today and into tonight. We do have a fire danger statement that has been issued for this morning. Right now, overnight, we were getting relative humidities that we were expecting to be around 20 to 25% for the majority of our forecast area, down towards the far southeastern counties that we have. We went ahead and issued a fire danger statement for those areas, given that the fuels were a little bit lower in those areas and they were expected to have clearing with the clearer skies for a little bit longer than what we might have further north and further off towards the west. So we felt like even though the fuels weren't quite there yesterday, with all the clearing and the really low relative humidities that we'll have today, we felt like we were going to meet those criteria, so we went ahead and issued for those areas. But with the lower relative humidities, we could have some spotty problems all throughout the area. So I know there's a lot of people out there trying to get their burning in, especially before this next week comes up. So just be aware of that as you guys go forward. Looking at the temperatures for this week, this is a graph showing the high and low temperatures compared to normal for the Atlanta area. And I know we're a little Atlanta-centric here showing these, but I didn't want to clutter up our page here. Just know that if you're a little bit further north, we're expecting temps to be about 5 degrees cooler. If you're a little further south, about 5 to 10 degrees warmer, maybe even 10 degrees as we start getting towards those far southeastern counties. But we can see here, at least for the Atlanta area, we're expecting highs mostly in the 60s for this week. That is quite a bit above normal, but not compared to our lows. Our lows right now, especially this stretch going from Saturday to Tuesday, where we're expecting lows up in the mid-50s, are going to be 15 to 20 degrees above normal for this stretch. So that's pretty significant for this time of year. As we get into our next general pattern over the next several days, we can see where we're sitting at now, this Thursday afternoon. As we start advancing forward, we're getting into Friday, and we start to see a little bit of lighter rain ahead of this frontal system that's going to be moving through. As we go into Friday night, it's where we're expecting our heaviest rain from this up in far northern Georgia. And then on Saturday morning, we're expecting that low pressure system to make its way advance. You can track this back from the southern plains, this low pressure system, and it should make its way across the southern Appalachia as it moves forward. This cold front will be coming through, but it's not going to be very cold. Like you saw the temps before, still expecting temps above normal for this time of year. As far as rain, this is our first round. Not really expecting a ton of rain, up to an inch in the far northern portions of our county warning area. And while we're not expecting many problems from this, this will act to kind of prime our area, especially that North Georgia area, for next week. Speaking of, this is an animation showing our upper level pattern and the moisture for the lower half of the atmosphere. So it's a good proxy for a rainfall going forward. And as we get here, here is the system that just moved out. Here's that Saturday system coming through. And then you see here, we get stuck in the southwest flow pattern where we just have moisture streaming in day after day after day. And we're looking at possibly 3, maybe even 4 rounds of some heavier rainfall going through next week. And this is an animation from Saturday night, this is, we're expecting that southwest flow with that moist atmosphere there Saturday night through Thursday night. At least as far as the rainfall totals go here. So far, this is for just Saturday night into Thursday night, and we can see precip totals going as high as 6 to 8 inches for far northern Georgia. And that's not even going to be the end of it. Like I said, this is through Thursday night, but we're expecting that rainfall pattern to basically exist in the area through next Saturday. So this is going to be a whole week-long system where we're just going to be getting round after round after round. And it looks like, at least right now, the highest totals are going to be in that for northern Georgia. This is about 6 to 8 inches as of right now through Thursday night. Our forecast doesn't go any further than that right now, but I think we can expect maybe even 1 to 2 inches on top of that, and that is just for next week. So don't be surprised if we do end up issuing some flood watches and warnings going into next week, and especially river flooding. If you guys have any problems with some of the rivers around there, especially what we've been dealing with for the last few months where we've been abnormally moist in these areas, we're probably going to start to see those problems spike up again if we end up getting this round after round after round. Now there is a little bit of some variability within the models as far as our total from this area, but 6 to 8 inches is a good average that I've seen so far. All right, so just summarizing everything up, we went through Tuesday's severe weather recap. We had over 50 plus reports, including 1 tornado there in Clayton County rated EF0. We have been having some trouble with our KJGX radar, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, those problems are fixed, but we'll have to evaluate going forward just to make sure. We do have a fire danger statement issued today. It's going to be pretty dry up there. We're going to have some upper level cloud cover coming in later on today, but we should have some clear skies. It's really going to dry us out. Above normal temps for this week. Our first round is going to come, system that's going to come through is that low pressure system there Friday into Saturday night. Should just have some light rains, but we're expecting quite a bit of rain going into next week. So take preparations now if you need. All right, and that's been your weekly weather briefing for this week, February 14th. If you guys have any questions, please let us know.